What's up, guys, and welcome back to my gaming podcast, which is still untitled at this point, but this is part 3, I guess, or issue 3 or episode 3. So it's been a few weeks since I've done the last one. That was mostly because, one, I've been busy, and two, there hasn't been that much news that's been that exciting to me. So I've kind of bundled up a bunch of stuff that's got me excited. Well, there's still a lot I've missed out, but first of all, I normally talk about sort of what I've been playing, sort of new games I've been playing, but I haven't really started anything new. So the only one I'm really going to talk about is something that I've been streaming again recently, which is Man of Medan. Now, this is the first part of the Dark Pictures anthology, which came out, I want to say 2018, 19 probably. And it's made by the people who made Until Dawn, which is one of my favourite sort of horror games of the last generation. And this one takes part in a sort of old military ship, so it's a ghost ship adventure basically, where you play as a variety of different characters as if you were watching a movie. You make choices, the characters can live or die. Now, most people would have already heard of this one. We played it when it first came out, and we never went back to it, and we didn't get the greatest ending in the game, so there's a lot of choices for us to make in this playthrough that are different from the last one, so hopefully we get a different outcome. What's made me really want to play this one at this point in time is because the new one has just released, the Houses of Ash, which is the third game. We still haven't played Little Hope, which is more a Blair Witchy Salem's Witch Trial one from what I've seen. So yeah, we're going to try and get through this one, and then we can move on to the next one, because like I said, we haven't played the other two yet, and the fourth one is going to be being released in 2022 at some point. So I really do enjoy these games. They're the closest thing to watching a horror movie with interaction at this point. And hopefully when we do get through it, we can at least keep a few of the characters alive that weren't in our last playthrough. So that's all I've really got to say, because that's the only really real thing I've been playing that hasn't been the games I've spoken about in the last couple of podcasts. So let's move on to something else. So there's going to be a new PlayStation State of Play event next Wednesday, I believe. I think it's 10 p.m. in the UK time, so we might have to either watch it in the morning or have a nap because we were up early for work, but I'm not really sure what to expect from this one. I believe it's 20 minutes long, so I can only imagine it's going to be sort of showing us things that we already know, maybe more Horizon, maybe something more to do with God of War Ragnarok, a new trailer for that. Other than that, I really have no idea what they could show. I can't see them showing off anything too mind-blowing. Tipsy Mud has just said in the chat, Bloodborne 2. Yeah, somehow I don't think that's going to happen. Still waiting on the Bloodborne PC and PS5 remaster from 2015, 16 that game came out. PSVR 2, Scott has just said in the chat, that is also a good shout, actually. I think that could be a possibility. They have already shown off a little bit of the handheld devices for it. I think they've given us a little teaser for that. And I think it's actually the anniversary of the original PlayStation VR soon, or it already happened. So I know they were doing a big sale for that, so that could actually be a good shout. I wouldn't be surprised if we did see something on that. That would be quite exciting, actually, because it's been a while since the PlayStation 1 came out, and obviously we have the Oculus Quest now, which is sort of the more, what's the word? The more popular one at the moment. It's not as powerful as some of the other PC versions of VR headsets, but it's more portable, and you can have all the games sort of on the headset in I think it's an SD card in the headset. And Resident Evil 4 has just been released on that, which I would love to try that out. First person action. Shooting zombies, well, Ganados, the Mexican guys, but yeah, that would be pretty fun to play. Limited Edition PS5, Scott has also just said in the chat. I could see that happening, but I'm not sure what sort of limited edition that would be. It would have to be just a colour, maybe like a silver or a black. I can't see them doing one for a specific game, because I don't actually think there's any big games coming out for PlayStation for the rest of the year. Hopefully they can do something to reduce the motion sickness in the next VR console. Yeah, that's a big thing. I've personally never played it. I know you have played it, Tipsy, and it made you sick, right? So I'm not sure what they can actually do with that. I think it's more sort of tied to frame rate, and when you're moving the control stick at the same time, it's kind of like a zoom out while you're moving it. So just like something that makes you basically nauseous. So hopefully they can do something with that. But that's all I've really got to say about that State of Play event, because yeah, no idea what could be there. Next up is probably the biggest story that's come out over the last week or so, and that is the Grand Theft Auto Trilogy Remastered Edition. So this has been rumoured for a long time. It was finally confirmed maybe probably in the last month. I'm not actually sure when it was confirmed, but we knew it was coming. We had no idea to what extent it was going to be remastered, and I think it was a couple of days ago the release date sort of leaked, and then Rockstar updated their site, so we knew the reveal was coming soon, and we just got a reveal trailer and a lot more information on the game. So I wasn't expecting too much from this remastered trilogy. Actually, I was expecting it just to be 60 frames a second 4K, but what they've done with it, it seems they've gone a step further whilst keeping the sort of art style of the original game, which could hurt it, could make it better. I'm not sure. The only thing that looks a bit off in this is the character models. The rest of the things they've upgraded looked really awesome to me. The cityscapes, the neon lights, as you can see in the picture there, if you're watching the visual version, we have the image of Tommy Vercetti walking out of the Ocean View Club, and you can see the bright neon lights of the title of the club. So they've done a lot of work on it, actually. They've put it onto Unreal Engine. There's a lot better lighting from the built from the ground up. You can see the reflections on the cars and the sunsets, and it looks really awesome. So there's another few things that a bit of news to do with this as well. San Andreas is actually coming to Game Pass day one, which is awesome because San Andreas is probably a lot of people's favorite. It's probably the biggest of the three games, and being able to play that essentially for free or a small fee for the membership of Game Pass, but that's a great way to get people in, especially people who've never played the games before. And for me, I've been struggling to think of what to pick this up on, because on PC we have DLSS included and hopefully ultra wide, but that's going to be the best experience visually for it. But at the same time, I kind of want to play it on the Switch portably, and I also want to be able to play it on the couch downstairs on the console, so I'm kind of torn. So at least I can play the Game Pass versions downstairs on the Xbox, and I'm still trying to think whether I should buy this on Switch eventually, but who knows. It just looks really cool, actually. There's a lot of upgrades to it. It's going to be 4K 60 on the console, so I'm not sure the extent of the upgrades on the Switch version, but getting to play these games again with all this visual splendor is going to be awesome, because they are some of my favorite games. The only thing I'm a bit worried about is the licensing of the soundtracks, because as games sort of get older and older, they only have licensing contracts for a certain amount of time. We've seen this in a few games like Rock Band, where they've had to take some songs out, like Metallica and Iron Maiden and stuff like that. So I'm just hoping the soundtracks stay mostly intact, at least with the ones that we all love. In fact, I was just playing a lot of Vice City and San Andreas songs before going live with this, just because I was in the mood for it after getting these images of Vice City. So yeah, it's going to be awesome. It's only out in 2-3 weeks. I think it comes out on November 11th. So yeah, I've got a lot of thinking to do in that time. I definitely will be picking it up. I'm not even sure if I'm going to be getting it at launch, but at least I can play San Andreas on day one on the Xbox and check it out and just see all the new upgrades and go back to Grove Street. So yeah, can't wait for it. Just going to look at the chat real quick before we move on to the next topic. So I almost pre-ordered this today until I saw it on Game Pass. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can actually buy them individually, but I know that, I mean, if you're going to buy the trilogy, you're going to buy the trilogy at some point anyway. But if you've got Game Pass, you might as well check out San Andreas, see how it is, see how it plays, and then go and get the rest if you feel like it's worth it. Had to sell your VR made you feel awful. That's the reason why I never got one, but I love to be able to play it. We are just weak human beings. They've got to cater to us. Yeah, that I'm not sure if it's even possible. It might be more a problem with the person rather than the headset, because some people just are affected differently, like seasick or car sick or anything like that. So I guess they can try and make it as accessible as possible. I hope you know those soundtracks are going to be blasting 24/7. Absolutely. I mean, as soon as this podcast wraps up, I'm going to be getting that Vice City soundtrack straight back on. I was listening to Chatterbox Radio yesterday while painting. Is that one of the Grand Theft Auto radio stations? Right, next up then. This is more of a smaller story. I mean, I don't think many people have been actually covering this one. I'm not sure how recent it is, whether it's been in the last 24 hours or not. And it is about Fatal Frame, the series. So, if you don't know what Fatal Frame is, it's essentially a survival horror series that came out in the, I would want to say, early 2000s, maybe late 99. The sort of, what's the word? Sort of premise of these games is that you can capture ghosts and basically banish ghosts with a camera. And it's very Japanese horror. They're all Japanese games. And the most recent one, which came out on the Wii U exclusively, has been remastered and is coming out on all consoles: Switch, PC, Xbox, PlayStation. I think it's next month, or it could even be the end of this month. And I really enjoyed playing that on the Wii U last year. But the guy who made these games, or the head developer, or whoever is in charge, has come out and said that there may be some more Fatal Frame remasters in the works, because previously he said that they don't have anything planned, but it seems like this one has picked up a lot of steam. It's getting a lot of people excited to playing it, especially people who haven't had a Wii U or have played the older versions. So yeah, I've never played them either. I've never played the first 3 or 4 Fatal Frame games, so this is quite exciting news to me, because if we do get a remaster or remake of the original ones, I'll definitely be on board and playing them, because I've heard a lot of good things about them, especially Fatal Frame 1 and 2. 2 is sort of the favourite of the bunch, I've heard from a lot of people. So yeah, getting to see a remake or a remaster of these creepy ass Japanese games would be awesome. So yeah, the only thing that can boost this, like make this happen, is if a lot of people do pick up Fatal Frame 5 on whichever console. So hopefully the sales do well for this, because it is quite a good game, and hopefully we see some more horror in general coming out soon. I'm going to try that next time I'm in the workshop. My production will either double or half. Yeah. You'll probably just want to drink more after listening to Motley Crue or something. Right. So, question. So, I forgot to sort of ask for viewer questions this week, so I had to do it very last minute, and I think Scott in the chat has given me one, and he has asked me, what am I looking forward most to in 2022? And what I did is I took a quick Google of games coming out in 2022, and just from the top bar where it shows you all the images of the sort of most popular searches, I want about 80% of them, and they all look fucking awesome. So picking one is going to be tough, but I'm just going to pick maybe 3 out of this list that I can see. This isn't everything that's coming out, but first up, obviously, Elden Ring. I am a massive sort of Soulsborne fan. I love Dark Souls, I love Bloodborne, I love Sekiro, and I've been waiting for this game for a long time. And we don't have to wait too long, really. It's just been announced that it's been delayed from January into February, but I can deal with that. I've been waiting long enough already. So an open world Dark Souls game gets me very pumped. It sounds like it's a bit of a mixture between Dark Souls and Breath of the Wild. So yeah, really can't wait for that. I'm going to try and go into this one as blind as possible. I'm not going to see any of the other trailers they release for it, unless the game gets delayed even more and I just get too tempted to. But Elden Ring, cannot wait for it. Still unsure where I'm going to pick it up, whether I'm going to get it on PC or console. Tipsy Mother just said in the chat, I'm thinking a day off work needs to be booked for Elden Ring. Yes, possibly. Depends if it comes out towards a weekend or not. I will actually have holidays in time for that, so who knows. Elden Ring is definitely up there in the things I'm looking forward to. So what else we got? Horizon Forbidden West is coming out in February. Loved the first game. The trailers for the new one look incredible. I just want to see this thing running on the PS5 hardware, because the first one looked great as it is on the PlayStation 4. And yeah, the worlds in those games are just really awesome, all the different lush environments. And this one looks like it's more of a island adventure. It's very tropical. There's a lot more sort of, what's the word, tropical creatures like giant crab robots and things. So yeah, looking forward to that. Big list here. I'm not going to try and make it too obvious, because there's like God of War's coming out. Obviously, I'm going to be looking forward to that. We have 2 of the Batman games as well. I love the Arkham series. So we have Gotham Knights coming out, and we also have the Suicide Squad game coming out. They look awesome as well. Starfield at the end of the year. Looking forward to that. Do you know what? I'm going to leave it there then, because I'm looking forward to all of those games, and I think Elden Ring's probably at the top of the priority list there. So next up, what do we have? Speaking of God of War has just been announced as a PC title. Now this has been happening a lot over the last year or so. A lot of people said it would never happen. We'll never see these PlayStation exclusives come to the PC, and it's been happening more and more and more. I think it started off with Horizon Zero Dawn, and we had Days Gone. Uncharted is now coming to the PC, and yeah, God of War. So, we had Death Stranding as well. So, God of War is a beautiful looking game on the PlayStation 4. And, I mean, I've already done a platinum on it. Chances are I'd probably play this again with unlimited frame rates and high resolution. It says it supports ultra-wide. I'm just not sure if it supports my monitor. So, that's definitely something I need to look into before I do pick it up. But yeah, I mean, God of War Ragnarok is coming out next year if it doesn't get delayed. So having the opportunity to play it again, I think if the remaster or the PC version is worth it, I think that would be the place to play it again before the new one. So big news. But the more interesting thing about this is the fact that more PlayStation exclusives are coming to PC, and it's not just the ones like Death Stranding or Days Gone that weren't as successful as the bigger ones. We're getting Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy and God of War on the PC now. These are the top tier games for Sony, so who knows if this is going to be something going forward. I mean, it seems you have to wait a while for them to come to the console, to the PC, but I mean, in my mind, it's kind of a good thing and a bad thing. Obviously, I want everyone to experience these games, but at the same time, for me, I've got a PlayStation 5, and if I see a game, I'm second guessing in my head, if I wait 12 months, will I get this on PC? So it's kind of a double-edged sword. So, I mean, Demon Souls might come to PC soon, and anything else. I can imagine things like Returnal coming to the PC as well, but it's something that we've never seen Sony really do, and yeah, they seem to be pushing it hard. I'm not sure if it's confirmed, but I'm sure I saw an article yesterday about Ghost of Tsushima coming to the PC as well. So all of the big hitters seem to be coming to the PC, which is unheard of with Sony exclusives. So yeah, that comes out in January, I think. Spider-Man is on my list. Yeah, Spider-Man 2, is that out in 2022? I thought that might have been 23. But either way, I'm excited for that one as well. Love the first one. I could do with playing the first one again on the PS5, actually. I did Miles Morales earlier this year and loved it. So to see a fully fleshed Spider-Man game, a full sequel, cannot wait for it, especially knowing it has Venom in it. And hopefully we get to see some more badass villains like, what's he called? Carnage, and I don't know. There's so many villains they could choose from. Craven. Right, okay, next up. So there's been some very heavily rumoured things that a lot of people seem to think are real, and I mean, if it is, it's about damn time. They are supposed to be making a new Splinter Cell game, which is something people have been asking for a very, very long time now. I think every single E3 or any Ubisoft event that ever happens, people are waiting for a Splinter Cell to be revealed. Sam Fisher's turned up about 10 times in a row, but he always seems to be in someone else's game. So I'm a big fan of the Splinter Cell games. It's been a long time since I've played the original trilogy on the Xbox. And yeah, I don't know what to think about this. I'm hoping it's true, but I'm a bit worried about Ubisoft. I'm a bit worried about what Ubisoft might do to it. because they seem to be branching all their games into more of a open world sort of thing. And I mean, Hitman has done it great, but that is more of a sandbox than an open world. So the next evolution of Splinter Cell, I'm not sure what they could do with it. The only other thing I could think of is making it more like the Phantom Pain, Metal Gear Solid 5, where it's in sort of a really open sandbox with just all different things going on, and you can make your way to the mission. But I would just as happily take a standard game where it's like the old Splinter Cell games, where it's just a mission with a sort of semi-open area which you have to work out how to get your target and to do your objectives. I mean, the last Splinter Cell that came out was Blacklist, and I honestly loved Blacklist. I thought Blacklist was one of the best ones they'd done in years. Double Agent was I really enjoyed Double Agent, and then Conviction took it in a different angle. It made it a lot easier, I think, because you could kind of like target enemies and just do headshots. But yeah, I would love to see them evolve on it. I mean, I don't want to see them just do another Splinter Cell game that's the same. I would like them to evolve it in some way. And I mean, it's been a long time since Blacklist. I think that might have been 2014. So yeah, they've got a lot of things they could do with the new technology. The graphics would be awesome on it, because they've always had a very good sort of graphic style to them. So whether this comes out or not, I know we're going to be waiting a long time for it, so this could be a 2023, 2024 title. But yeah, Sam Fisher he's been away from gaming for a long time for us, so yeah, let's hope we hear more about this soon. Do you think the Silent Hill rumours are true? This is what Scott says in the chat. I do. I think to some extent, they're definitely working on a Silent Hill game. There's been so many different rumours, whether it's Kojima's coming back to finish PT, or whether it's this one that Team Bloober is working on, which seems more reliable, as they've already come out and said that Konami and Bloober Team are working together. So there's about 3 different games that have been rumoured from Silent Hill, and I'll take them all. Just give me all of those Silent Hill games. I don't care. As long as we get something new Silent Hill and it's awesome, then I'm down for it. I think the closest thing you can get, I've not played the game yet, but is The Medium, which had the music done by Akira Yamaoka, I think that's his name, the guy who makes the Silent Hill music. So I think he's already tweeted out something about some kind of involvement. So I think there's definitely something going on. And I think if it's to do with Kojima, the best time for us to see it would be at the Game Awards, hosted by his best friend, Mr. Jeff Keighley, who always loves to bring him on. So if that happens, yeah, let's wait and see. Kojima knows what we want, and he wants to deliver. Yes. And that's what he does best. He sends people out delivering parcels in Death Stranding. But yeah, I love everything Kojima's had his hands on, really. So fingers crossed, because I think even in the Death Stranding director's cut, which just came out, there is some kind of Easter eggs and teasers towards some PT stuff. Now, I mean, I think he has free reign to do that in his own game, in his own engine, if it's not copyright. But some of the things I've seen are very close to something you've seen in PT. So maybe these wounds have been sewed up by Konami and Kojima, and we may see it. Maybe Sony have bought the rights. Who knows? So yeah, I would love to see that. Scott has also said, would you like a Silent Hill remaster remake? Absolutely. The first game is sort of, I wouldn't say it's in dire need of a remake, but it's the most aged of the bunch. It came out in 1997, or it might be 99 actually. And yeah, it doesn't hold up visually at all, really. The characters are all blocky as hell, but the atmosphere is awesome. And I think if they could get someone like Blue Point Games, who remade Shadow of the Colossus and Demon Souls, to do a remake of the first Silent Hill, I think it'd be really, really awesome, because I must have finished it at least once, but it's been so long, so I've never gone back to it. So if they could do a remake in the same vein of Resident Evil 2, where they kind of make it a bit more modern, keep the visual style of it, obviously not the graphic style, but just make it really awesome, very creepy, I would be down for that. Yeah. While they're at it, Remake 2, Remake 3, why not? Anything Silent Hill you throw at me, I will try it, I will play it. So, last on the story list here is the Happy Biohazard 25th Halloween. This isn't the biggest story to go off, but this is the way this story has fell into my podcast. So, with the announcement, with the release of Resident Evil 4 on VR on the Oculus Quest, there's been this page coming up on the Japanese Resident Evil page, I believe, and they're teasing announcements for the rest of October coming into the 25th, which is tomorrow, actually. I couldn't have waited that long to make this podcast. I wanted to get it out of the way on the weekend, but yeah, so they've been announcing things over the past few days, and I thought they would be more interesting than what they have been. I think mostly it's been announcing sales for the games on Xbox and stuff like that. So there's two more reveals left for us to find out about, which is, I think they're both on the 25th. So I'm hoping they pull something out of the bag here and give us a good announcement, whether it's Revelations 3 or even just an announcement for Resident Evil 4 Remake or DLC for Village. I think either of those things would please Resident Evil fans. I'm a massive Resident Evil survival horror fan, and I kind of know what people would like to see and what people would not like to see. It could even be something as simple as merch or something like that, but if you're a Resident Evil fan, you want to see either Village DLC, you want to see a new Resident Evil game, or you want to see an announcement of a remake to an older game, or a announcement for Re:Verse, which still has not been released. So that is all the stories I've got to cover for this week's podcast. I really enjoyed talking to you guys about them and the interaction with the chat as well. It's good to sort of have questions from you guys to talk about, even if it's not just about the news, if it's anything to do with gaming or what I do in gaming, like my backlog or how I play games or what type of games I like. I like to interact with you guys, and it's good to bring that into the podcast as well. So this has been my third podcast. You can find this on YouTube visually. If you want to watch it live, you can find it on Twitch. And I think the two platforms for the audio version are Spotify and Apple Music. So these will all be in the links below, whether you're watching this on YouTube or Twitch or any of the audio platforms. There should be a way for you to find all the other versions, so you can pick and choose where you would like to watch or listen to it. So thank you all for listening or watching. If you have any sort of feedback or any features you would like to see me add to this podcast, then please do. It's been a pleasure, and I will see you all again with part 4, possibly next week after the PlayStation event, and see what announcements we get for Resident Evil. Who knows, if it's a good week in news, you'll see me again next week. So thank you all, and I will see you next time.